morning, everyone. Today is Monday, March 10th, and this is Mervin Hanley welcoming you to the program and to this channel. I trust that you had yourselves a wonderful and peaceful weekend. I certainly did. This program, of course, is powered by Carl & Sons Unique Bakery on the island of St. Martin. There are 3 locations on that island, as far as the bakery is concerned, at the St. Martin's Medical Center, on the Ponfill, and in Colby. Also, here's hoping that if you have not subscribed already to this channel, that you will do so today. I come here to you ever so often to bring to you the news, commentary, the issues of the day. Now, I do understand the way life works, and that is not everyone will agree with what I have to say or what I say. But we ought to be able, as I believe, sensible human beings, to have robust, healthy dialogues on matters that relate to our island's interests, our Caribbean interests, diaspora and Black America interests. And as long as I have life in my body and strength to do so, I will continue to try my best to speak truth to power, and I will do so without fear and without favor. If you'd like to be a part of our WhatsApp broadcast list, and this is where I send news and information about different islands each day, the news or whatever is happening in those islands across the Caribbean and in the diaspora, let me give you the St. Kitts and Nevis contact number, WhatsApp number, that you send me a WhatsApp and I will be able to add you to the WhatsApp broadcast list. I try not to bombard folks every hour, but at least 3 to 4 news stories or information per day I will send out through WhatsApp broadcast about any Caribbean island, any Caribbean government, or what's happening around the Caribbean region on a whole and in the diaspora. And that number is 1-869-667-7443. That's 1-869-667-7443. Now, ladies and gentlemen, last week the Caribbean was in shock to find out that the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank had this lavish palace under construction for a while now, but we just found out the information really, especially the cost, because of a letter that was sent by Prime Minister Gonzalez to the incoming chair of the Monetary Council, that's the Honorable Gaston Browne of Antigua and Barbuda, expressing his concerns and shock and dismay of what he found out from his Minister of Finance, that's another Gonzalez, Camilo Gonzalez, regarding the amount spent on such a project or allocated for such a project of $22 million and counting. So this palace under construction, one that fits for a king, but it's actually for the governor, any governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. And many of us would have had our say on the matter. I did commentary on this last week on Friday. If you have not seen it as yet or listened to it as yet, feel free to remain after this show, to remain on the channel and view that commentary that I made on Friday regarding the matter. Since that commentary, I would have spoken to a number of ambassadors for various countries, prime ministers and ministers of government from across the region who gave their own private thoughts on the matter. I know that there are those who will expect that this will go away after probably 3 days of chatter, but I do not believe it will, and it shouldn't. I believe that this matter should be resolved and until there is accountability. Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, the Honorable Gaston Browne, on his Saturday show, he gave his first comments on this matter as I predicted. According to the Prime Minister, there is no evidence that the governor himself had sought to be excessive, and he said he don't know and he has not seen any case of corruption or something that will create an issue undermining the governor's integrity. That's what the Prime Minister said on his Saturday radio show. According to the Prime Minister, what I will say is clearly there are some governance failures here. And going forward, we are going to have to strengthen the reporting mechanism, he said. And according to him, at the level of the Monetary Council, I would say we were caught flat-footed by the amount of money spent. But I don't know we can escape responsibility. One can argue that we should have known, according to the Prime Minister. And before I move on to the topic at hand this morning, I just want to say that people can be great, people can be honorable, and people mean well. But that doesn't mean that these same honorable people, and when I say honorable, I'm not speaking specifically to ministers of government or leaders, once you hold a position in my mind. And, you can be respectable, you can be honorable, but that doesn't mean, or it should not mean, you shouldn't be held accountable. Yeah? And I leave that there for now. Now, there's another storm brewing Yes, there is. And I would like to spend a few minutes on that today. And this is the U.S. war on Cuba's medical assistance, a threat to Caribbean sovereignty and health, in my opinion. Very recently, Washington, on behalf of President Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, to the Caribbean heads of government and foreign ministers, basically threatening them. And once again, the United States has overstepped its bounds, and this time by targeting Cuba's international medical assistance program. Now, the threat of sanctions and visa restrictions against Caribbean governments and its officials, for example, leaders, dignitaries, is basically the U.S. government, and from what I gather, my interpretation, if you do not do as they say regarding these health assistance from Cuba, we will take away your visa, or we may even bring the restrictions against your citizens. Now, the threat of sanctions and visa restrictions against Caribbean governments that accept Cuban doctors is not just an attack on Cuba. It is an attack on the very foundation of Caribbean sovereignty, an affront to the rights of independent nations to make decisions in the best interest of the people. I know that for decades, Cuban doctors have been a lifeline for the Caribbean. They have filled critical gaps in our healthcare systems, working in remote communities where many others would not go on under-resourced hospitals. Many of our citizens, Caribbean citizens, mothers, fathers, children, are alive today because of the dedication and skill of these Cuban medical professionals. Now, their contributions are not abstract. They are real, measurable, and deeply felt across our islands. Yet now, Washington, with its big stick, seeks to dismantle this lifeline under the pretext of attacking Cuba's government. But my listeners and viewers, let us be clear. This is not about democracy or human rights. If it were, then the U.S. would have long acknowledged the humanitarian value of Cuba's medical program. Instead, this is about control. This is about a geopolitical agenda that disregards the health and well-being of millions of people. I want to say that Caribbean nations, you cannot allow yourselves, Caribbean governments, you cannot allow yourselves to be bullied into submission on this matter. Healthcare is not a privilege. It is a fundamental human right. And when the United States government attempts to strong-arm our leaders into rejecting Cuba's assistance, it is essentially demanding that we put politics above the lives of our people. And this is unacceptable. If the U.S. is so intent on shutting down Cuba's medical aid program, we must ask, what alternative is it offering? Will Washington provide the doctors, nurses, and specialists that the Caribbean needs? Will it open its hospitals and clinics to those who require life-saving treatment and they don't have a visa? I can answer that. It will be a resounding no. For years, many Caribbean nationals have been denied U.S. visas when seeking medical care. If the doctors to the U.S. remain closed and now Cuba's assistance is under attack, where does that leave our people? And that is why Caribbean must take a united stance. The Caribbean must not allow itself to be divided on such a critical issue. A strong collective response is needed to push back against this interference and assert that the Caribbean has the right to determine its own healthcare policies, free from foreign interference. We have seen time and time again that elections have consequences. And it is deeply ironic and disturbing that throughout the campaign, the last presidential campaign, that I saw some Caribbean government ministers publicly praised Donald Trump, aligning themselves with his administration's policies and, rallying with Trump as attention seekers. Yet now, that same administration is actively working against their own governments and citizens. The contradictions are glaring, and my people, the repercussions are real. The Caribbean must stand firm. We cannot afford to play politics with healthcare. We cannot afford and allow our sovereignty to be undermined at the expense of our people's well-being. We must defend our right to choose the partnerships that best serve our region. Because at the end of the day, no foreign power, no matter how strong, should have the authority to dictate who has access to healthcare in your country. And I will leave it there for now. And all these leaders, Caribbean leaders, you're under the microscope because your Caribbean nationals, your people, they are watching. We are watching. And I hope that I understand that their meetings this week, if I'm not mistaken, in Washington, where foreign ministers will be meeting in Washington, hopefully with the U.S. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, a puppet to the president. So I hope those meetings are fruitful and productive and that there will be a positive outcome of all this. But we cannot be bullied and we cannot have so-called dictators or wannabe dictators just wave a passport or a U.S. visa over our heads and say, do as I say or else. Do as I say or else. What will come next? They force some leaders into tightening up the CBI program, citizenship by investment. Soon they may want to take it away because they are now doing a similar program with $5 million and you get a green card. So what next? After this, what next are they going to demand from our Caribbean leaders? You swore an oath to protect your people. You swore an oath to fight for your people. You swore an oath to make the lives of your people better. And that includes healthcare. That's our program for today. Do join me again. I'll be back here with you on Wednesday morning, I believe, for a similar presentation, whether it's news or commentary. My name is Mervin Hanley. Remember, before you leave here, please subscribe to this YouTube's channel so that you do not miss any information. God bless you and take care of yourselves.
Artinsons have been serving the people of St. Martin for over 40 years, and the food and service get better and better. From early morning, customers flock to the bakery for their favorite sandwiches, cakes, pastries, you name it. First thing at mornings and last thing at afternoons, folks rush to Sons for simply the best. There are two locations, Coal Bay and on Funville. In Coal Bay, the opening hours are Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Saturdays, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Sundays, 6:30 a.m. and 30 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Opening hours on Funville, Monday to Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 6:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. We also cater for weddings, parties, special events, whatever the occasion. It's Sons. Our staff, we are always happy to serve you. Call us today, the Coal Bay location, 721-544-2462. That's 721-544-2462. Or in Phillipsburg, 721-543-1059. That's 721-543-1059. It's Sons Bakery. We are here to serve you.
Nevis, satisfy your sweet tooth at Feaser's, the cozy spot in Charlestown, known for its mouth-watering ice cream and doll parade. We are open Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come in and sample our patties, sandwiches, air-fried wings with fries, hot dogs, rotis, and now our famous smoothies, in all flavors of course. And don't forget to try the famous bus-up shut and saltfish. It's Feaser's, located at the entrance to the Cotton Ginnery Mall in Charlestown, Nevis. They're also available by phone, so place your order by calling 1-869-665-2458. Don't ask about the rest, just try the best.